I told my mother-in-law her surprise nanny was the reason we're moving across the country. Now my husband's entire family is blowing up my phone calling me ungrateful for rejecting free childcare from a loving grandmother. 3 years ago, after 36 hours of labor in an emergency section, I woke up in my hospital room to find my mother-in-law, Diane, holding my newborn son. Not my husband. She'd convinced a nurse she was my mother and gained access while I was still unconscious from surgery. I wanted to bond with him first, she explained when I asked what she was doing. Grandmothers need that special time too. That was just the beginning. Since then, Diane has shown up unannounced at our home at least twice weekly, usually around 7 a.m. She lets herself in with the emergency key we gave her once for a plumbing issue, wakes the baby from his routine, and rearranges our kitchen cabinets, nursery, or closets. While informing me I am doing motherhood wrong, my husband James initially dismissed my concerns. Mom's just excited to be a grandmother, she means well. When I pointed out that showing up uninvited and criticizing my parenting wasn't meaning well, he suggested I was being too sensitive due to new mom hormones. The breaking point came last month. I'd finally gotten our now toddler son on a consistent nap schedule after weeks of effort. I had just finished a work call. I work from home 3 days a week when I heard a key in the lock. In walked Diane with shopping bags. I brought Noah new pajamas. The ones you have are too warm for his skin type. Before I could respond, she marched upstairs, opened Noah's bedroom door, and called out, "Who wants to go to the park with Grandma?" My son obviously woke instantly. My carefully planned work schedule dependent on that nap collapsed. When I tried to explain this to Diane, she laughed. "Oh please, you are being ridiculous. Children don't need all these schedules. I raised 3 kids without all this fuss. Besides, I am doing you a favor, taking him off your hands so you can do whatever it is you do on that computer all day." I called James at work, crying from frustration. His response, "Can't you just thank her for the pajamas and move on? Why does everything with mom have to be a battle?" That night, I applied for a transfer to my company's Denver office. James was stunned when I got it. "You applied without telling me. Why would you want to move away from family? Mom helps so much with Noah." I stayed calm. "Your mother doesn't help James. She undermines." After weeks of discussions, couples therapy, and one particular illuminating session where our therapist helped James see the pattern, he finally agreed to the move. We told his family yesterday at Sunday dinner. Diane immediately began crying. "How could you take my grandson away from me after everything I've done for you both?" That's when I finally spoke the truth I'd been holding back for 3 years. "Diane, you are the reason we're moving. Your inability to respect our boundaries, your criticism of my parenting, and your unannounced visits have made it impossible to establish our own family rhythm." The table went silent. Then Diane turned to James. "Are you going to let her talk to me like this?" James took my hand. "Mom, we've tried to talk to you about boundaries for years. You never listen." "Boundaries," she scoffed. "Family doesn't have boundaries. I am just trying to be involved in my grandson's life." "Being involved means being invited," I replied. "Not using an emergency key to let yourself in whenever you want." Diane stormed out. Since then, James's sisters have been texting nonstop about how I've always been cold to their mother and how I am tearing apart the family by denying a grandmother's right to see her grandson. James finally turned off both our phones after his aunt called to say I was obviously suffering from some kind of postpartum psychosis to reject free childcare from a loving grandmother. We leave for Denver in 3 weeks. James has promised the emergency key stays with us this time. Sometimes the only boundary that works is distance, and sometimes free childcare costs everything: your privacy, your authority as a parent, and ultimately your peace. Some people will never understand that helping only counts when it's actually helpful.